Hey, Ski Mask Boys here. We're going to talk about we're going to switch it up instead of talking about a product. We're going to talk about this Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 just crashed a few hours ago, and we thought we'd just kind of talk about it a little bit. Talk about one of the pilots appears to have died, another one is injured. Not sure how severe yet. What's your initial reaction to this, Pinky?
I mean, I'll just be honest. The first thing that I thought was how did one pilot has ejected from this ship and lived? They found him at the scene. It crashed over like Mojave Desert. But the other pilot, a co-pilot, has died. So I'm wondering why one guy was able to eject and the other guy wasn't. And part of me just wonders if it may have been the other guy's fault, or if the other guy was just faster, or if he was just lucky or something.
Right. Um, yeah, that's good. That is a good question, actually. So to be clear, the tow vehicle that tows this thing up to altitude landed safely and fine, and then shortly thereafter, this plane crashed, and one of the pilots is dead. So
And
800 people have put down part of at least a deposit of for this $200,000 flight. How many people do you think are going to rescind their deposit and get a refund and back out of this now that this happened?
my guess would be at least 20%, but I really doubt that they're going to do whatever they can to not make those numbers public. And I don't think it's a greed thing. It's just more about, not completely destroying the integrity of these new space programs in general and the Virgin space flight program in general.
Right.
Another reaction that I had to this was, part of me just feels like Richard Branson may not be the right guy to be doing this kind of crap. I mean, part of me just felt like if he was spending less time combing his beautiful blonde hair and maybe not hanging out with like naked porn stars or whatever. I mean, the safety is so important. Like when you're creating space programs, safety and all this shit needs to be number one. And I'm just wondering if they're really, because maybe they're testing equipment, but why are they testing with actual pilots? Like, isn't there a way they can simulate this for a few runs with new equipment and before they allow these people to actually man the flights?
Well, I mean, I think that you can't really like planes crash. All sorts of planes crash, even planes that have flown thousands and thousands of hours. So I don't think you can really, it's going to happen. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
really trying to blame anybody, but it just seems like if you have new equipment that you're testing, because it looks like they were testing a kind of rocket engine that was a newer rocket engine. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm just curious if this kind of stuff could be simulated a lot more before they have men flying. Like if you're testing a new plane, it seems like it would be logical too. You have a new engine, a new system, and maybe you could simulate it, but that technology's been around for decades, so it's not really as risky. But with this space equipment, I mean, they're fucking around with physics that people aren't really doing in any other space.
right. Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just a thin line because they can only probably spend so much on the technology, and there's anybody who's involved knows there's inherent risk, right? Because they're kind of on a new frontier of some sort, at least for like commercial or uh, passenger travel to space, right?
Yeah,
So
and I'm sure that these pilots know that it's extremely dangerous. They know what they're getting into. They're basically astronauts.
yeah, totally.
And this guy who's died, I mean, people should really praise him as a hero because he's kind of like a modern day Howard Hughes, I guess.
I disagree. I always disagree with that. Like when one of these like race car drivers crash and die, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's such a hero for what? He knew what he was
No, I
doing."
don't. No, I don't think that race car drivers are heroes at all because they're just rednecks who are trying to make a faster car, and the cars are boring. But these kind of space flights are really pioneering, in my opinion. And these guys are sacrificing, they're putting their life on the line to advance a technology that's clearly the future. I mean, in my opinion, I do think they're heroes, you know? And I'm the last person to say...
I don't think they're heroes at all. I think they're probably getting compensated perfectly well. They know the risks. It's something they're really interested in. It's the same way like me and you grew up skateboarding. There's people who have died skateboarding. Would they be a hero if they died like trying to ollie like down a three-story building just because they were daring to do something nobody had done before?
But I would never call a skateboarder a hero in a sense unless he was, you know, just some totally amazing guy. But I wouldn't say hero. To me, hero is something that will eventually benefit mankind, doing something that will benefit mankind in the future, and it's a really like a sacrifice. And I feel like that this is in that category. And yeah, he's being compensated, but there's no amount of money that can really convince you to fuck with your life in that way. This is dangerous. You know, they know it's dangerous. And I've met
some rednecks who would definitely disagree. For $50, they'll do something stupid that definitely endangers their life.
They will, but the problem with them is that they don't understand how they haven't spent their whole life going to understand. You know, like Rosa Parks, she was a hero, dude. I bet you there was a lot of brothers back in the day that would have done what she did for a few cents too. You know, but the reality is that the way things are done and the knowledge that you have of how you do this kind of stuff is really where it is. This guy is probably trained to be a pilot or whatever for decades, and he's probably totally knowledgeable on spaceflight, and he's probably dedicated a large portion of his professional life to these kind of, I guess, missions, if you want to call them.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think that makes him a hero. I mean, if he had gone to if he had tried to go to outer space to rescue some people who flew up in a weather balloon and were stuck, and he was putting his own life at risk to save some other people, then I think he was a hero. In this way, and I'm not saying he's stupid or anything like that. I don't believe that. I believe that it's really tragic the guy lost his life. I just don't think that he's a hero because he was doing something that was clearly awesome. I mean, going to space and getting compensated for it, that's awesome. A lot of people would be very happy to do that day in and day out.
Yeah, I think they would be happy too. I think that it's, for me, he's a hero because he's going to be helping. He died helping mankind go into the next frontier. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to say for sure, and I think that what he is involved in, or what he was involved in, it is going to take man into the next frontier, and space travel and some sort of space habitat will at some point be a part of our human existence. But
and there's people going crazy about it on Twitter as well right now. I'm just seeing hundreds of tweets come in. Some are officially coming out saying that Virgin is concerned about the pilots first. A lot of pictures of the wreckage.
Yeah, they were. I think Virgin held a. They should have been holding a press conference about half an hour ago.
Yeah, we are human and it hurts, says Stuart Witt, CEO of Mojave Air and Spaceport. I don't know. I mean, let's just keep figuring out what's going on with this, and maybe we can do another part to this if something develops.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll come back to this topic at some point. Oh, he's turning off or what?
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to turn it off.